Hey everyone, how's it going? Just give me a couple of seconds here. I'm going to go live on Facebook and then we are going to get started. Raul, good to see you there. Okay, give me a couple of seconds and I'll bring you in as a panelist and we can meet you. I'm so excited to chat with you today. Hey Eric, hey Jesse, Shannon, how's it going? Say hi to me in the chat and let me know what's going on. Just be a couple of minutes here and then Dr. Bart will jump on. And then we've got some good stuff we're going to be diving into tonight. I'm really excited to talk about leadership and some of those topics, especially right now with everything that's going on in the world. Okay. Just as people jump on here, I'm just going to share this over. Hey Whitney, how are ya? Hey Laurie, good to see you on. Hello, hello, hello. Where are you guys all calling in from? You all know I am all the way over in Perth, Australia. So it's actually Wednesday morning here for me. Santa Rosa Beach, baby. I know I still need to come out there one day. Check out the new cafe for sure. Awesome. Dr. Bart in the house.
Hello, dear. Well, good morning to you.
Yes, good morning.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we should be out of here in just a sec.
So for our guests that are already on, go ahead and give us a little wave that you're here. Raul, welcome. And of course, as we go tonight, if you all have, Raul, I don't hear you yet. I'm going to unmute you here. If you guys have questions, load them up. This is the night. If you have questions about anything, this is a good time to have them here. So I think we'll go live on Facebook as well. Is that right, Karen?
We are live on Facebook for sure. Oh, your background is dialed. Look at that.
Thanks. Do you guys hear me? You hear me fine? Do you hear me fine?
Yeah, we got you.
Awesome. All right. So they got audio. Elvis, they're good.
Yeah. Awesome.
It's really nice to see you here tonight. I'm super excited for this show, as you can imagine. And we're going to dive in pretty deep here. So, Karen, you want to kick us off here?
Yeah, let's get started. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Health Made Simple show. I want to start by introing our host, Dr. Bart, who is a healthcare practitioner, who has been a healthcare practitioner for over 20 years and is passionate about supporting people to level up their health. He practices a range of modalities, including chiropractic, kinesiology, functional nutrition and lab testing, all from his practice Balance Health Studio in Seagrove Beach, Florida. He also works virtually with people all around the world and is the founder of the Health Edge program, which is a cutting edge health program for entrepreneurs and executives wanting to take their health to the next level. So he's worked with thousands of people around the world, including celebrities and athletes. And so we're always so excited to get his intake in health, and we're so grateful for him to be making health simple for us every week. Our guest this week is super exciting. I feel like we say that every week, but I can't wait to dive in. So thank you so much for being here, Raul, who is an entrepreneur, an investor, an author, and a speaker. He's the CEO of the Next Level Experience, which is an entrepreneur's mastermind coaching and mindset program. So over the years, Raul has worked with some of the biggest names in personal development, coaching, marketing, and real estate. So after experiencing trials and tribulations firsthand, Raul understands the devastating effects it can have on both your business and yourself, leaving you feeling discouraged, unrelatable, and overwhelmed. So today he has put that experience into action and has started a global wave of male re-empowerment. So as an entrepreneur and a man who believes in the power of family, Raul knows the difficulties men face as they try to find balance in being business leaders, family men, and role models. He knows what it's like to pursue balance while trying to find strategies to boost life to the next level, which is what we talk about each week. So thank you so much for being on this week.
Always a pleasure. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Bar. Appreciate you guys having me here.
Yeah, my pleasure. And again, it sounds like I say this every week, but super excited to have you here for a couple of reasons. So the audience understands. I'm going to give a little backdrop here. And this will expose, you see this really calm, collected, well put together guy here. I want to give you a little backdrop on our relationship, if that's all right with you. So about 3 years ago, we met and we had our very first conversation. So a little backdrop before that. So Raul and I are friends, but also the way we met was that I brought Raul as a mentor for me as a coach. And we've developed it much farther than that. And it's so now we can call each other friends, but we still have a relationship to support each other in whatever needs we have, which is absolutely awesome. So I'm hoping that we can test Raul tonight and push him a little bit to get every ounce of information and value out. But I want to go back to a conversation. I think this is a good backdrop for the people listening here tonight. You know, all the people that are going to watch us on review and then on Facebook Live tonight. Our first conversation, I don't know if you remember this, kind of a short conversation. We get on the phone together. We get in about, 45 seconds. We get over the pleasantries of hi, how you doing, all that good stuff. And I remember getting right to the point. And that's one of the things that I've always appreciated and loved so much about you, Raul, that you get right to the point in an honest, clear, loving way. And one of the first conversations, one of the first sentences you said to me, Bart, don't waste my fucking time. And it set a backdrop. And I'll be honest with you. And so for any of you, listen, I know I'm a health guy and you might not used to hearing those words come out of my mouth, but that spoke to me as a man. It really did. It spoke right to my soul. That was very, very, it was real to me. And in that conversation, we started our relationship. So I want to say thank you for being here. So there's so much I want to dive into tonight, but let's talk about your journey a minute here. You started off in real estate, business-wise, killing it, crushing it, ran into some stumbling blocks. I don't know if you'd call it a midlife crisis, but maybe. Something goes on inside your brain. Maybe the market changes. Maybe you're getting frustrated. And then all of a sudden you pop out of that, shift gears, and now become a leader of men. And I'm not talking everyday men. I'm talking about alpha dogs. And this has become your mission, your passion. So dive into that. I know it's a lot, but dive into that for us.
So thank you, Barb. First of all, thank you for having me here because, just listening to what you're saying just brings me back to the first conversation. Like, don't waste my fucking time. And I think that if one thing that we have to do more now more than ever is just appreciate the time that we have. Like, we spend so much time just wasting time and dancing around the problem instead of facing the problem head on. And I've been guilty of that too. I've been guilty of dancing around the challenges, dancing around the problems instead of just facing it. And that's what happened to me when I hit my midlife crisis. I actually hit my midlife crisis in my mid-30s when I was killing it in real estate, when I had money in the bank, when my wife and my kids were healthy. There was something that was inside of me that felt like I had a void. I felt like I didn't have a purpose. I just recuperated back from the crash of 2008. 2008, I lost millions of dollars. But then I spent about 3 to 4 years recuperating and getting back on the game to just find myself empty. And that's probably the most dangerous place to be. And I talk to men every single day and every single time that, I'm good. I'm good in my business. I'm good in my marriage. I'm good in my connection with God. I'm good in my fitness. So every time that I hear the word good, I ask them, so why the fuck are you talking to me? Like, if you're good, why did you apply for my program? Why do you go 45 minutes into my content? Why are we even having this conversation? I just had a guy today that he said, I'm good on everything. I said, listen, that's what you're saying right now. But underneath that good is somebody who has a shitty lifestyle. And that was me. And the reason I could call people on their shit is because we love to just mask our problems. I was the first guy who hired coaches, who hired mentors. And within the first couple of sessions, I end up mentoring them and coaching them just because I didn't want to face my challenges, just because I didn't want to do the work. And I always remember my coach telling me, Raul, man, every time I talk to you, man, you help me so much because we love giving, but we don't take and we don't actually deal with our own shit. And that's what I came into a place where I had to deal with my shit. I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't fake it out there that I was happy. I couldn't fake it in my business. I couldn't fake it with my marriage. So that's when I went to this journey, and this journey that, I spent time in India. I traveled the world. I spent about 2 years in personal development. I spent about $500,000 going crazy, and people thought I was crazy. I thought I was crazy myself because I never meditated in my life. And here I am in India with a couple of monks meditating and doing some chants that I've never done yoga. So that just shows you how much pain I was in, and what I was willing to do in order for me to break through that pain. And if it serves anybody out there, a lot of us are going through a silent midlife crisis that from the outside it looks good. Because if you see my pictures, 10 years ago, you would say, man, I had no problems. But deep inside, outside of that fake smile, because that's what I have. You see all my pictures, I had this smile. I looked like I had a perfect smile. But inside, I was full of insecurities, fear, guilt, doubt, and shame. And that's what we love to do. We just love to mask the problem. So I made it into a mission to, once I came out of that realization that the only way to grow and expand is to face our fucking pain. And when I came back, when I started facing my pain and cleaning up relationships, cleaning up situations, and the moment that I realized that, man, I need to do something that fulfills my purpose, into something that drives me. It's not just about making money and building businesses. It's what drives me, what gets me up every single day. That's when it clicked. I needed to create something that was outside my realm, outside my industry. And that's when I created the Next Level Experience.
You know what? You're saying that, and I almost want to back you up a little bit, because you said it with such ease right there, that you had all this pain and you just made this shift, right? I tell you firsthand, being in healthcare, I see people in all different types of pain, some emotional, some physical. And same thing happens. You see this facade. It's almost like a shield or a armor that comes over us. And we're just so used to getting up and put it on every day that vulnerability is not open. So then if it is, then what do you do? Like, where did you go? I know where I went, but where did you go? Like, how do you climb out of that hole? Because there's a lot of people right now, Raul, that they're just starting to recognize that the way things are going, if they keep going that direction, that they're screwed.
Yeah. So let me tell you, the first place I went, it was the tequila bottle. That's the first place I went. I'm like, let me sedate this pain. Let me get rid of this pain. And I remember stuffing it to the point that I used to finish half a bottle of tequila every single night. I did it for about 6 months because that pain, that emotional pain, turned into a physical pain. So I thought I had cancer. I thought I was going to die. I went to the doctors and everybody told me it was all in my head. I'm like, how can it be in my head? Like, I can't sleep. This pain is real. So all I knew how to do is take shots of tequila until I fall asleep, and then the next morning wake up and do it all over again. So that I went to sedation. I tried to sedate my pain. So when that didn't work, I tried to manage my pain. I said, okay, let me take some medicine. Let me try to do some medication here and there. But that's what we do. We sedate, we manage. It wasn't until I realized that I needed to find a holistic way, and I started researching yoga, meditation, and personal development. And I realized one thing: every time I went to a personal development event, my pain was gone. And it's because I changed my state. I was a different place. But when I came back, my pain was there. It came back. It was like magic. So I'm like, shit, if I could just stay in that state, how can I reverse engineer? So that's what I started looking and putting the pieces together. How do I change my state? How do I change my mindset? How do I change the way that my body is feeling? And it was all feedback. To be honest with you, Bart, the feedback I was getting is that I was no longer where I was supposed to be. It's kind of like the hardest thing for every man, I believe, is to break through the box of who you think you are to become the man that you were destined to be. And the moment that you realize that there's a man that you were destined to be, but what holds you back is that all believe the story of your culture, your religion, your industry. And that's what I was in. I was in a box, and I felt like I was in an industry of people who knew me as a real estate guy. So I had to be the real estate guy. So I put my first event together in Vegas, Bart, and I had a bunch of real estate guys. And I thought, let me just bring us some ideas of how to take over the market now, because right now we're positioned into the best opportunity. It was 2013. The market was just coming up. All we need to do is just play the cards right, and we'll make a shit ton of money. And the first day, everybody wanted to talk about my breakthrough. Everyone wanted to talk about, how did you come out of that tunnel, Raul? And by the second day, every single one of us, like we connected by the pain. And I remember the first day I was doing the best impression of Tony Robbins, man. Because I've been in the Tony Robbins school. I've been over 50 events for Tony. So I knew his content left and right. So my first day, I'm like the Latin Tony, right? But the second day, I didn't feel authentic. If something was bothering me, I felt like I needed to actually tell the truth of why I was there. So then all of a sudden, I had this stage, and I just started talking, saying, "Listen, I here's what I'm going through. Here's what I've been through. Here's drinking every single day, feeling this pain in my stomach, and going through all this journey. And every single man, there's shit. That's exactly what I need to hear, because they were not there for motivation. They were not there, to make more money. They were there to connect." And that's what started this whole movement, because at the beginning it was next level real estate, but then it turned into a next level experience, because I believe that we all need to experience the growth. Personal development, motivation is just part of the game. We need to go to a higher level of experience to actually grow and expand. And I've been doing that for the past 6 years, Bart, trying to continue to push the envelope. And we're constantly evolving, we're constantly changing. And what's beautiful about this journey is that it's no longer me. It's no longer Raul. And it's no longer what I could do. It's always about the collective consciousness of every single man that I talk to that shares their story. So I learn a little bit from that person. And then I get a chance to coach another guy and a little bit from that. So then we have hundreds of guys now that we coach, that the compound effect of learning and the pattern recognition is what brings us such a deep experience that we have right now.
That's awesome. So let's dive a little deeper into that. When I similar story for me, been around personal development for years, love it, still love it. And yet when we connected, one of the things that I found so unique was the interaction of, I'm going to call it the tribe, or we call it inside, we call it the brotherhood. So almost like the first time you went out to Las Vegas there and you're giving a seminar, and they want to have, you almost are in a tribe now, and it has an opportunity for people to get real. Talk a little about that, because I think that's a huge missing gap right now. Like, there's such a, humans are meant to belong. Like, we're designed to be part of something that fulfills us, makes us feel good, where we can contribute. Talk about the importance of that right now, especially because we're talking about social distancing and getting away from people. Give me some input. What are your thoughts on just that, the power of the tribe?
So one of the things that changed my life, Bart, is proximity. I believe proximity is power. And I remember I went to an event and it was a competition. Like, the trainer had us compete with other groups and kind of create kind of like a mini company within the event, right? And I remember having this idea of recruiting everyone. At that moment, I didn't realize what I was doing, but I always wanted to bring people together. So I ended up recruiting the entire group of people and putting them together so we could actually accomplish something. Instead of competing against each other, I wanted to have like a one unified tribe, right? So I didn't know who was in the room. I didn't know who I was talking to. All I knew is that I had a goal, I had an outcome, and I wanted to make shit happen. And in that room, there was a billionaire that I didn't know he was a billionaire. And he comes to me and says, Raul, you have exceptional leadership skills. He said, but you try to please everyone. You try to please every single person, and that's going to be your downfall. Because I thought about it like, hey, man, I'm a badass. I'm bringing everyone together and I want everyone to like me. I want everyone to cheer with me. But it was impossible because people will eventually talk about me. And then it opened up my eyes when I brought everyone together, but some of them were forced to be together. Some of them said, just because, I guess I have no choice, I'm forced to be together. So now I realize that by picking your tribe, you got to pick the tribe that I think like you, that they want to go where you want to go. That it's not about bringing everyone. It's about bringing people that are going to go into a place that you want to go. And I just did a speech. I was hired by a pastor, believe it or not. A pastor reached out to me and hired me and said, are you sure? Are you sure that you want to talk to your congregation? Because they might not want you as a pastor after they hear me. So the only thing I asked, Raul, if you just tone it down with your F-bombs, tone it down with your curse words a little bit. I said, listen, all I can ask for you is to pray for me. Pray for me. If the Holy Spirit hits me, it hits me, but I can't promise you anything. So one of the things that I learned is that they had a tribe. And the pastor was the leader. And the pastor, once I got done with him, realized, Raul, I'm overweight. I have low energy. And like, I can do half the shit that you put us through. So realize that the leader of the tribe sets the vibration at every single level, the money, their health, the connection. So when you start looking at bringing a tribe together, you have to be able to be around tribe of people that are constantly going to the next level. You can't be around a tribe of people that bring you down, because it's very easy for us to get confused that we're part of networks and network associations. That's what we're not talking about that here. We're talking about really giving ourselves the permission to connect, the permission to be real with another, and not have business conversation. I'm gonna only share this with you as long as you share something back with me. No, really having authentic relationships needs for you to break yourself open and without expectations. And that's one of the things that I've created in this group. And we constantly drill down in that culture that we tell every single man that comes to the brotherhood, we don't give a shit how much money you make, where you've been. We only care about how real you get, how raw you get, and where you're going. That's what I want to know. Where are you going? What do you want? And can we help you get there? And also, what's the value you bring into the brotherhood? Because it's not about giving. It's not just about taking. It's about giving into the brotherhood.
That holds true, I think, everywhere in our lives. I know in health, you're going to be as healthy as people around you. If you're trying to eat well, but nobody around you is doing that, or you're not associating, you're not putting yourself in the space and place of other people that are really trying to level up, there's a good chance that on your move up, there might be people sometimes even intentionally trying to pull you down. So, I know being part of the brotherhood that that power of proximity is unmistakable when you find something that like-minded people moving and collective conscious moving in the same direction.
Yeah.
The idea of leveling up, instead of going this way, you get to kind of like take the shortcut there. So let's shift gears for a moment. Let's talk a little about leadership. Ultimately, when I look at your group and I look at some of the work that you do, you're leading leaders, quite frankly. You're leading alpha dogs. And here we have this year, which has been an interesting one, 2020. It's almost like the saying now, that's 2020. And personally, I don't think 2020 is going away. I believe that as the universe elevates chaos, we have one option. We increase our capacity so we can hang in there for another 2020, another 20. Social media is not going away. The media is not going away, et cetera. Talk to me a little about leading in the midst of chaos. And this is a huge thing because right now we need to be leaders more than ever before.
So I've been talking about the storm for the past couple of years now. So about 5 years ago, I was doing a training and I said 2020 is going to be a game changer. Like I couldn't predict what's happening right now. I just thought like 2020 something was going to happen. It's just a cool number, like 2020. So it just kind of like felt like 2020 was going to be a shift. So I've been talking about preparing for the storm because outside of the health situation with COVID, there has to be a correction in the market. So it was given that it's going to be something that's gonna give. It's just every 10 years the economy resets. So I've been training my mind and the people around me to really prepare themselves for the storm that's coming. So because I've been preparing myself for the storm that's coming, my mantra every single day has been focusing on seeing what the worst case scenario could be and getting strong enough so I could take that punch. And every single time that I see myself that I could take that punch, what allows me to have perspective. So, part of my morning ritual every morning is to have gratitude. And then I tap in myself into gratitude. And then the second part of my ritual is to actually create energy in my body. So I'll do some exercise that I'll say a couple of power statements. But the third part of my ritual is to focus on the worst case scenario. And the worst scenario for me is for my wife to be sick or my kids to be sick or for my family or the loved ones to be sick. And that has been my ritual for the past almost a decade. So now 2020 comes in and we had a leadership event here in Connecticut. And that's the moment that the lockdown happened here in New York. And 2 days later, I got diagnosed with COVID. 2 days later, I was laying in bed. 2 days later, my wife is laying in bed. 2 days later, I have a high fever. Now I'm facing my worst nightmare. So now it's no coincidence that for the past 10 years, I've been feeling that. I've been putting that into my body. I've been facing that pain. So now when the pain is real, it was familiar. I was ready for it. Not to say that I like it, not to say that I wasn't afraid, not to say that I wasn't, I wasn't worried, but it didn't hurt as much as it was going to hurt. See, I think that right now, 2020 is punching every single one of us in the face. but it's because we have not prepared ourselves to what's coming. We overweight, we have no energy, we have no backup plan. We are putting shit on the wall, hoping it sticks. And now 2020 is exposing all our weaknesses. So the moment I have to realize, like, shit, what is 2020 exposing in my marriage, exposing on my business, exposing on my health, exposing what connection with God? And that moment I found myself, I was praying, crying, asking God to save me, to help me, to heal me. And that's when I realized why. Why am I asking God for that? Why do I want to live? Why do I even feel like I could bring value? And that's the reality here. We have to start asking ourselves, why do we do this shit that we do? Because if we're in this trance of every single day getting up and doing just enough, and then 2020 comes and now we're forced to be at home, like doing nothing again, and if we find that as a curse, we have to ask ourselves why. Why do we want to be free? We talk about freedom a lot, right? Being free. But some of us, even living in this country, we don't feel like we're free. Even in having the opportunities, we don't feel like we're free because we're cages. We created a cage in our own mind. We create a cage in our business. I create a cage in our story. So part of being a leader is every single day trying to break free of that box, break free of that cage, break free of the fear and the illusion that bad things will happen. Or if bad things happen, face them. Don't hide from them. Fucking face them. Because that's what I did. And the moment that I started facing, my wife still has some challenges in her health. But every single time we just thank God. And I truly think that we're living in the times of change. And a lot of people think that, aliens are coming, Jesus must be coming next year. Something is going to happen that is, it's like, because 2020 has been such a crazy year. But I asked myself, if this was the last year, have we given it everything we had? Can you say that if a meteor hits, can you give it your all, or are you waiting still for COVID to live so you could start living? I think a lot of us, we have that mentality, like, if this happens, then I'm gonna do this. If this person does this, then I'm gonna do this. No, stop waiting for shit to happen. Make it happen today. Who do you need to become in order for you to start living life with no regrets, no guilt, no shame? Just realize that you are just a conduit for the universe to guide you.
Man, what a powerful question to ask. Like, who do I need to be today, right here? And then even more so, because it's so relative right now, are we waiting for COVID to end? That's right now. You hear it every day. We hear, well, when this ends, man, the chaos, I think I feel it's once raised, the bar has been raised by the universe. We have to catch ourselves up. And so that preparation, you're absolutely right, especially with health. Like, we shut down the world's economy because we're unhealthy. And now it's going to challenge us emotionally. There's a word we've had the conversation about emotional fitness. Let's dive into that category right now, because I think emotional fitness is something that we like. What is that? Talk to me a little about emotional fitness and why right now, becoming more emotional stable, having some strength and having this fortitude built up is the only way moving forward.
So I just finished writing my book, Bart, last week. And I've been working on this book for the past 2.5 years. And one of the things that I've learned is that every single man has to go through stages. Like, the first stage is we go through a peasant stage, right? The victim mentality, or the one who's trying to figure shit out. Then once we have enough pain, they move into the warrior stage, right? Every single man wants to be a warrior, wants to be a badass, wants to make shit happen. But then after a certain amount of time, we have to go through another stage, and we hit what we call the tunnel, right? And the tunnel is what creates either sedated warriors or creates kings. The common denominator that I see in every single stage is the level of emotional fitness. Most men stay in that peasant mentality because they're not emotionally fit to break through to become the warrior. So now they stay to become the victim. They stay blaming society, blaming their wives, blaming everyone else. So they, even though they're grown-ass men, they stayed in the peasant mentality. So they're never going to do shit. But the moment that you have enough emotional fitness, you say, you know what, I could become a warrior. I could pick up a sword. I could fight. I could hang on the battlefield. And then the moment that you realize that the warrior eventually dies, the warrior eventually is exhausted because he fights every single battle, then you have enough emotional fitness to weather the storms, to weather the tunnel. And then when you go into the tunnel, it's what I call the rite of passage. A lot of people call it the midlife crisis. When I went to the rite of passage, because I realized that in order for you to start leading, When a man back in the days, when you're part of a tribe, you wanted to lead, you go to the tribe leader, said, okay, I'm ready to lead. What does he say? Okay, here is the knife. Go to the wilderness. If you kill the wolf, then you come back, then I guess you're a worthy leader, right? Nowadays, we don't have that. Now, if you want to be a leader, all you need to do is start a website and call yourself a leader, or write a business card. I don't even know if people have business card anymore, but or put in LinkedIn, leadership guy, CEO, or entrepreneur. Worse, entrepreneur. Everybody's an entrepreneur now, right? But there's not enough emotional fitness to actually weather the storm. So now they go through the tunnel. That's the ultimate test of emotional fitness. That's the moment that you get stripped with who you are. And that's when the call that I get from every single man that applies for my program is like, listen, I've made money. I have money. I know how to make money. Why is it that I'm not satisfied? Why is it I'm not fulfilled? Why is it I'm stuck in this dark place? And how can I find my edge? Because for the entire time, they've been working on finding the edge as a warrior. And they're afraid to let go of that warrior edge to be able to become the king. And the king is the one that's going to make a difference. The king is the one that's going to make an impact. The king is the one that's going to let go of who he thought he had to be so he could evolve and expand to become who he was destined to be. And that is fucking deep. And that's what it takes, emotional fitness, for you to realize that all the shit that you've been working on for the past 30, 40, or sometimes 50 years is the same shit that you must lose and let go to be able to evolve and expand. And I think 2020 is a perfect setup for the tunnel for a lot of men, because they've been tested. They realize they don't have the emotional fitness. Now it's time to do the inner work, because we're great at doing the outer work. We're great at putting everything out there, but it's the inner work that matters. And I believe that some of the work that we do here is a deep, deep inner work for men who wouldn't usually do this type of work. Because what I've done is I really compounded the time of all the breakthrough stuff that I've done to really give a man an experience to say, shit, let's cut the bullshit. Let's cut the facade. Don't waste my fucking time. And let's go from 0 to 100 and let's compound time, because the one commodity that every single one of us, we're never going to get back is time.
Yeah, that's huge out there. I think so often in many of the guys that I see it in healthcare as well, that people are so fearful that it's going to take so much time, that it's so far out there in order to make that change that they just figure they can't even do it there. And you go back a step here to the idea of being a warrior. I'll tell you what, up until a couple of years ago, I thought being a warrior is like a badge of honor. Like, and I say that to all the men out there, and women too, because there's something about like being like, yeah, I'm a warrior. I'm just going to keep crushing it. And in healthcare, I watch people crush themselves right into their casket. They just keep going. They forget about listening to the body, listening to the voice within. And next thing you know, the body breaks down, and then the hoorah comes out and be like, well, I'll just keep pushing through. And that consciousness. So you're right. This is deep stuff to allow ourselves to elevate above the warrior and become the king, who's going to take care of the empire, going to take care of the castle, and survive these things like 2020. So, wow. So, and then time, that's huge. I just want to throw this in there. I'm a guy, and I've had challenges in the past. And at this point, I expose myself. I have nothing to hide. It's, I find that it's a lot more freeing to be real with it and not try to act like I've always things perfect, but I did that. And there was an emotion that always came with that. And it was shame. That for a guy, if we had failure, if finances went to shit, if my body went to hell, whatever it may be, you're a guy, that's how you got, that's how you got into the bottle of tequila every night. There's some association to shame there. So, for the guys that might be listening, or anyone for that matter anyone that's listening that feels like failure or being stuck is shameful, could you say something to that to help them like unleash that a little bit?
Yeah. So the one common denominator that I see, and just coming back from that event that I did with a group of men in the church, is guilt and shame just poisons our soul. Guilt and shame disconnects them from the source. It disconnects us from each other. So the idea that we don't have to fail, the idea that, as a man, we are less than because we ask for help, the idea that we have to figure this shit on our own, that's what's killing men silently right now. So the truth is, the moment that you actually release that guilt and shame and that idea of failure, you realize that there's more men out there that are fucked up. And that's the reality. And it's okay. Nobody's perfect. But the moment you realize that women too, the problem is that women trying to fix us. And then, a woman marries a peasant and thinks, okay, I want to make him a king. I see the king in him. He's going to be a king one day. But the reality is that maybe you just need to let him fall on his face. Because a lot of men, what I see, especially in my culture as a Latin man, like my mother, she babies her kids. Like my wife babies our kids. So the one thing that I realized I need to break is that need not to let our men be men. Let them fucking cry. Let them fucking fall. Let them get some scars. Because at the end of the day, they're gonna become stronger. They become better. And the moment they realize that the woman, the biggest challenge that you have is that your man is not stepping up his game, don't fucking lick his wounds. Be there for him. But do the same thing my wife did to me. When I lost everything, when I came home and I had so much guilt and shame and I was ready to get divorced because I lost everything and we're going to be in the streets. And I told my wife that I didn't have the money to pay for a mortgage. You know what she told me? All right, go out there and fucking fix it. Go out there and hunt. Go out there and make it back. He said, I'm going to live under a bridge if I have to, but I know it's not going to be forever. I know you're going to make it happen. So that gave me the permission. She didn't say, okay, honey, don't worry. We're going to my mother's house, or we go to your mother's house, or, or we'll make sure it happen. No, she goes, go there and fix it. I think a lot of women, what they're doing, they think they're doing the right thing by, bringing them and embracing them. But the reality is that there's a thin line between empathy and apathy. Like sometimes we hinder this man to be able to go there and hunt. And as men too, if you think your woman's crazy, it's probably just because you don't know how to hold the space to let your woman be her. Because I believe every single woman is crazy, but that's the beauty of the feminine energy. My wife and my daughter, they're like this. I call them the ocean of emotion. So I love it when they're crazy because they test me. It pushes me to become better, to be able to be strong enough to hold the space of the emotions. And every single time that I find myself triggered, allows me to grow and expand. So the beauty of the feminine and the masculine is the oneness, is the dance. Men are fucked up because we think that we have to control women. And women, are in a situation right now that they want to be empowered. They want to be by themselves because men have not stepped up enough to feel like now we're worthy. So that the whole big movement right now, women, I love it. I love the fact that women are stepping up their game. But I also know that men, we need to do our job to step up our game. Because statistics are there. The number one demographic on entrepreneurship and leadership are women. The number one demographic of women taking risks right now are going to the roof. Men right now are in a state of apathy, state of being a victim. Why? Because we've been conditioned not to show our power. Like we it's too much because we've used our power as a warrior way too long. And we burn shit to the ground and we hurt relationships. We have families that are broken because we didn't know how to evolve, how to have emotional fitness to be able to grow and expand as a man. So we have to take ownership and responsibility as men if you want to heal this world. I believe the biggest problem of women is a man that's stepping up to become the king. That we think women are going to take care of us, or because we marry a woman that we think that they're going to be in love with us forever. And the moment that they don't love us anymore, we feel that we're entitled to their love. Nothing is guaranteed. If you're married right now and listen, every single day, your job is to conquer that woman's heart every single day. The same way that you conquer in your business. And if you put in your business first and you let her last, when you deserve to lose her. And if you're a woman right now, and if you're not putting your standards up high and being treated like a queen, when you let your man know and let him know that he needs to level up and step up his game, and not in a way of nagging at him, let him know that he is with you, with him because you believe that he's a king, but you're not going to stand for anything less than a fucking king. And if he's trying to blame everything, blame the world, that you know you have a peasant. Or if he's out there fucking around and doing all these things, that you know you have a warrior. At the end of the day, just know what stage he's in, so you don't get hurt and you don't create a story and think that he's going to be something that he's not. And that's one of the reasons I'm writing this book, is to really help men realize that we all go through stages. Knowing the stage that you're in is allowing you to have the freedom to go there and experience life, but know that it's not going to be forever, that a warrior eventually dies. Right now we have warriors swiping left and right and doing everything they want to do, thinking that that's going to bring in fulfillment. At the end of the day, it's not going to be fulfillment. At the end of the day, you're going to end up empty. It's going to be it's something as business. If you make a lot of money, but if there's no purpose, you're going to feel empty. It's not how much money you make, but how you make the money that counts. Not how many women you're with. Are you going to be with a woman that's going to be with you when you lose everything and you're dead? Are you going to be able to be with her? And that's the state we're in right now, Bart, is a state of really a transformation between men, women, the economy, the world, like the universe is conspiring right now to shake shit up so we could fucking wake up. Like if this 2020 hasn't waking you up, then you have more problems than anybody could help you. But hopefully 2020 is a year that have sparked something inside of you. They realize you have to do something different, that you can't continue to do the same shit over and over again, expecting different results. And if you listen to me right now, like I don't have a script, and I know that Bart knows that when I get into the flow, I just tell you how it is. And if you're a woman right now, listen to this, you deserve to be treated like a queen. You're worthy to be a queen. But it's time for us to uplift our men so they could become kings. And men, you need to fucking treat your woman as a queen, and you need to level up to become a king. And don't wait for your woman to be on board. My woman wasn't on board. She for 4 years, she make fun of me when I go to personal development events. She'll make fun of me when I used to meditate. She'll make fun of me. She was poking and triggering me until I got stronger to realize that it wasn't about me. It was about her own insecurities. And now you see she's blossomed as a beautiful queen, and I'm reaping the rewards and the benefits of years of putting in the work, not just in myself, but in our relationship. And that's the shit most men are not willing to do, is put in the fucking work for years. We all want the instant gratification. But it's going to take years if you want to build a kingdom. It's going to take years if you want to build a relationship that lasts. It's going to take years to create a legacy. It's fucking patience and allowing yourself to trust in the process. I know that every single day you're going to level the fuck up, as long as you know that you have to go through stages and to increase your level of consciousness to become the man that you were destined to be.
Wow, dude, that was awesome. There's so much there. And really that was just like a beautiful explanation of who we need to be, the awareness we need to have right now. And I almost think that this 2020 is almost like this beautiful state of chaos right now. And it's exposing us, just like you said. So it exposes every little weak spot that we have. Maybe it's business, maybe it's your health, maybe it's your relationship. And I want to dive into that in just a moment here. But before we go any farther, we have some questions here. Hey, Karen, you got some questions? We're going to put Raul on the spot here for a moment.
Yeah, we've got a couple of questions on Facebook here. So the first one is you talk about leadership. Are people born leaders, or do they become leaders?
You know, like I said on the stages, we choose to be leaders. We could develop leadership skills, but ultimately leadership is a choice. And the moment that you choose to lead, it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to have all the perfect answers. All you need to know is that you've been called to be a leader. So then part of being a leader is a calling. It's not something that not everyone has that calling, to be honest with you. Not everyone. You could develop leaders, but leadership is a deep calling to actually create something bigger than you.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, cool. You kind of touched on this, but somebody's asked here, how do you break through when you feel overwhelmed and completely hopeless?
I know one of my team members this past week said that he was depressed. You know, he said, yeah, he self-diagnosed himself depressed. He was like, I'm, doing this and that. And then the more I talked to him, the more I realized that we tell ourselves a story that creates our own reality. So just the fact that you wrote down like I'm hopeless, and yes, if you wrote down that you're hopeless, if you actually feel that, then that's your reality, right? What I teach my kids is because my teenage daughter, she's always coming to me with all the challenges that she has. She has a whole bunch of challenges in the world, and every time I come home, she's like, "Dad, this happened, this happened." So every time I stop her, I ask her, "Give me 3 things that are working right now." She was like, "Dad, nothing's working." So just if you would think about it, if you could come up with 3 things that are working, what are the 3 things? And a lot of times, just the basics, right? But if
Mhm.
you could focus on the 3 things where you're winning in life, the 3 things that little by little you could just compound, because you're never gonna get out of that rush by focusing on your problems. The only way is to build momentum by focusing on the blessings and the gifts and the gratitude that you have. And those starts with, what are the 3 things where I'm winning right now? What are 3 things that are working for me right now? So that person who wrote down, if you could write down maybe right now, what are 3 things right now that you could be grateful for where you're winning in life? And if you're
Yeah.
living in America, that's 1. Just put that in 1. You live in one of the greatest country, craziest country in the world, but we love it.
Yeah, I love that, because that's actually like an actionable step as well that someone can do, right? And you're right. Like once we get into that spiral, it's hard to get out of it. So to have, even if maybe you write it down, that you have something there that reminds you to say, hey, what are the 3 things that are working right now? So that you actually, because you're right, like everybody can have 3 things that are working right now, right? Yeah, awesome. Okay, I have one more question here. They say, I want to start I'm starting a business, sorry, but my wife isn't on board. Do you have any advice?
Good. She doesn't have to be on board. As a matter
Right.
of fact, that's a good thing that she's not on board, because when I started a business, my wife was on board in my business, and within 3 months, I wanted to fire her, but I was afraid of firing her because I wanted to have sex. So I kept her I kept her in the business, but she was sleeping with the boss. So that's what she had a job, because she was sleeping with me. And then I realized that I I had to make that decision. Do I want to have a wife, or do I want to have an employee or a business partner? So I chose just to be her lover. I chose to separate that part. Until now, she does her own thing, I do my own thing, and I choose just to be her lover. So that's the biggest mistake that a lot of men have, is thinking that I'm going to start a business and then my wife is going to be my biggest cheerleader. No, if she's not your biggest cheerleader, it's good. Welcome to business. Welcome to entrepreneurship. Not everyone is going to buy from you. Not everyone is going to like you. And if it starts running at home, well, good. She's testing you. So show her that you could do it without her. So when you have a little bit of success, then she wants to be on board, and you could actually reap the benefits of actually building something that you created, not because she believed in you, you created. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Although, what about if they're really not supportive? Like, yeah.
Again, it goes down to emotional fitness. How
Yeah.
bad do you want it? Like if she's not, if put it this way, if you have a dream enough, and really have something inside of you that you want to bring to the world, or you believe that you could make this business happen, if your wife or your mother or your brother, your sister told you couldn't make it, and if it takes that for you to quit, then you were not supposed to do that,
Yeah.
because it wasn't really, like, you didn't really believe it. You're waiting for everyone to be on board for you to believe it.
Yeah. Awesome. Powerful stuff. Thank you. I think that's yeah, sorry, go Bart.
So, that's almost like a perfect transition to the next topic I want to kind of talk to you about. I know you've got a next level leadership summit coming up, virtual, this coming weekend.
Yeah.
And I think, when you think oftentimes of like leading men and entrepreneurs and stuff, people think business, business, business. But I know this isn't true in terms of what you do and how it's much more than that. And specifically, you have broken up this, we'll say this leveling ourselves up to 4 different things, without giving too much information. Would you share a little bit about that? Because I think that's so important. And I say that as an entrepreneur, as a husband. So often, Raul, I'll be honest with you, and I think most of the guys will probably think this way if we're really being real. If I could go out there and make a good living, have a good business, in my brain, somewhere deep inside there, I think that everything else should be good. That my wife should adore me, that everyone else should think I'm great, and as long as my business is good.
Yeah.
Yet we know that's not true.
I believe everything is energy, right? God is energy, business is energy, sex is energy. Everything happens through energy, right? So actually the edge for me stands as energy, determination to be guided to execute, right? Without energy, there's nothing. So what we do is we actually focus all our energy in one area of our life, and we think that that one area is going to give us all the entire energy. But the reality is that, sometimes that one area just sucks out all the energy, and we give the leftovers to what's left. So that one area is our business, right? For men and for women, we focus so much on our business that what's left is our relationships, our bonds. What's left is our connection with God. What's left is our health. And we give our health, our purpose, and our family the leftovers. And then we're searching for balance. Then we want balance. See, the reality is that there is no fucking balance, only integration. So if I look as an energy source, how can I draw energy from being with my family? How can my relationships be a source of energy? How can my connection with God and my purpose be a source of energy? How can my fitness be a source of energy? So then I have enough energy for all those other three areas. How easy will my business be then if I'm packing energy from every area? So now my business is not draining energy. Now my business becomes fulfilled or filled with the energy that I have. And now everything becomes one, because that's where I realize that the moment that you stop looking for balance and you start really realizing that everything is one, how you treat your family, how you treat your fitness, how you treat your connection with God is a reflection of how your business is doing. And that's the moment to realize that every single area, your body, your being, your business, and your bonds is interconnected. And the moment that you focus on those areas and you stop looking for balance, you start looking, how can I integrate? And every single time that you feel that you're not in flow, is because one area is not being paid attention enough for you to actually increase your energy level from that area.
That's awesome. There's such a correlation there to health. We're always talking about how we move and how we eat and how we think. And yet, if you drop one of those, you're going to be out of balance. There's no way for you to continuously level up. And oftentimes we hide, like we're looking away from the one that we're really weak at. So we got a couple minutes left here. If you would, I want to go back to March and talk about your health challenge. It was really interesting. And I hope everyone listened to what you did. You would bring yourself emotionally in your ritual to your darkest moment, the things that you don't want to say out loud, you don't want to talk about, but you go there. So you flex that emotional muscle. And then lo and behold, something happened in your life. So it's one thing to have that experience. And I know a little of this backdrop here, but share with me so I know for you, it was a wake-up call. And you've incorporated things in your life now that there's no turning back. You drew your line in the sand. Talk a little about that. And even the habits, this is a Making Health Simple with Dr. Bart show. So bring in a little bit of health, because as I've known you over the couple of years, in a weird way, and I think we both agree, this has been a gift for you, because now you have taken this pain and literally lit a fire for, men all across the world right now to pay close attention, that if you're not paying attention to your health, you can lose it all, no matter how good your businesses and your marriages are. So share with me a little, even if you would personally, because I know you're doing some really cool things every morning, and it's a new thing for you. What are some part of your new ritual, your new health rituals?
So the first thing I did when I got sick is I called Bart. I said, Bart, I got Corona. Like, just tell me, like, how many days do I have left, right? And the one thing that he did is like, Raul, trust me, you're not gonna die. And even though at that moment, like what we were seeing about Corona is all the hospitals in New York being packed, all the news. I couldn't even get to my doctor because there was so many people. Like, it was like a crazy time, right? So the moment I said, Raul, you've been prepared for this. Like, right now, all you need to do is rest, like listen to your body. And that's the one thing, like, fuck, I have so much things going on right now. I can't rest. I can't just go to sleep. But here's one thing I realized, that the body is a machine and it's going to heal itself. It's actually going to find a way to heal itself. And one of the things that Barb recommended was really start looking at juicing and really implement juicing into my diet. And I went and I bought this juicer and I started just doing celery juice every single day. And I've used it so much that I broke it. Like, we broke the juicer. So now we invested into another juicer. It's like a high tech, like it costs a couple $1,000s. Like, it's a machine. And now we're juicing every single day. My wife is juicing. My kids are juicing. Like, I have a juice production every single night that's now part of my ritual. But another thing that I've implemented is a night meditation. really start asking my body to give me feedback about the pain, because now I'm getting more in tune with chronic pain, and I'm feeling some of the stress. Like this morning I woke up and my right foot was hurting out of nowhere. My right foot was hurting. So then I started asking myself, instead of saying, let me give me an Advil, give me some Tylenol, I want this pain to go away, I started asking myself, like, where am I feeling like I'm not grounded? Where am I feeling like I'm not stepping in the right direction? And it's because I have the leadership coming the next couple of days, and I feel like the stress is getting to me. I'm not facing the stress. So a lot of the feedback that the body's giving us is always also emotional. Like, we have chronic pain, we're not addressing the issues. But if we just get in tune with what's going on, and really taking the holistic approach, and instead of sedating the pain or managing the pain, face the pain and ask a deeper question: what's my body trying to tell me? And I truly believe that when I got sick, my body was trying to tell me to take it easy, slow the fuck down, have way too many things going on at that moment, that I needed to take a hard break, a hard stop, for me to actually reset, recharge, and come back stronger.
Yeah, and thanks for sharing that. That's a message that for a couple of decades that I think that I've been trying to share with everyone, that instead of saying what's wrong with me, it's what is my body asking me for, and that
Yeah.
simple change of words changes the course of projection of where we're going to go on any given day. And I think the other part there, and the reason I wanted you to share this, so you basically got outside of your box, you'd never had a juicer before, didn't like greens, whatever, and here you are now owning, you become like a master like a master juicer. And for everyone listening today, I hope that you don't have to have that much pain where you have a life-threatening virus that gets into your body, or your wife or your spouse or someone that you love has even more challenges. For us to draw that line in the sand, like the writing is on the wall right here, right now, that this is the time. If you have not drawn the line in the sand and crossed over it and doing something different than you were doing 6 months ago, then literally shame on you. It should not look the same. You should not have to wait for the pain. And that's, so I appreciate, and and power to you for leveling up like that. You could have done it for 2 months. You could have done it for a couple of weeks and then be like, oh, I'm good now. And it's that continuous leveling up. And that doesn't happen unless we're practicing all these things together. All right. So we're at the end here. So tell me a little bit about this event coming up. I know a little bit about it. I'm going to be part of it. So tell me a little about the event coming up this weekend. I know it's virtual. I've been to some of these before. They're incredible experiences. They're experiential. So if you would share with me a little bit about that. Share with
So it's
everyone.
the first time we're gonna do a virtual event. So we're ready for everything. I mean, right now we got the stage, we got the screens, we have a couple of hundred people who have signed up, and really it's not gonna be an event where you're gonna be listening and just hearing somebody talk for a couple of hours. There's a 4-hour intense deep dive. Like, I want you to join me in a journey, join me in an experience, and you're gonna have a chance to interact with the audience, interact with the people that are gonna be there. So my intention is for us to create a virtual experience where you actually have a breakthrough, where you actually have some insights of how to prepare for 2020. I mean, for 2021, how to take the lessons for 2020 and not repeat them in 2021 and come back stronger. Because now the new currency is certainty. If you don't have certainty, like, 2021 is just going to be a replica of 2020. You're going to see people saying, well, I thought 2020 was bad. What happened in 2021? But I believe if you have certainty and you know where you're going, and you're part of a community that supports you, man, 2021 is going to be full of opportunities. And every single one of us right now, we should be priming ourselves for the opportunities that's to come in our business, in our connection, in our health. Because now more than ever, we gotta double down in our health. Like, when my wife and I, we got sick, one of the things I realized is, like, we need to start prioritizing our health. We just start really thinking, like how do we create a game plan that actually our bodies become younger as opposed to decaying. And that takes a mind shift. We started sleeping more, tracking our sleep with the Aura rings, looking at the supplements that we're eating. Like, now for me is a must. Before it was a nice thing. Like, health was like something that I did so I have energy. Now it's a must. Like, how do you turn that into a must when you make that connection, especially for men? You have to make a connection of how does your health is a reflection of your business. How does health make you the money that you need to make? Same thing. How is your relationship a reflection of your business? Because everything is energy. So at the next level leadership, we're going to talk about how to integrate everything. What's the game that we talk about all the time? How can the next 100 days actually do more than the last 1 year of your life.
Yeah, and I could tell our whole entire audience that I know Raul delivers. I've been part of this for a couple of years now, and one of the things you just said there, I think, just nails right on the head. That the currency of next year, of our future, is certainty, 100%. And that certainty means that we have to have strategic plans, strategic ways of, like moving forward, laying things down instead of just hoping that next year that COVID goes away and everything else falls into this nice happy place, because that's just not going to happen for us. And all right, my friend. So I appreciate you coming on here. We do have one more question for you. So this Karen's going to give one more question. We asked every one of our guests the same question at the end of it. So you're on the spot right now.
Awesome.
We do. So our last question is, what is one action item that people can take away from today to take their health to the next level?
Well, specifically for health?
You know what, like we've been talking about, really, actually, it's one action item that people can take to get closer to their goal of becoming superhuman. So no, it doesn't have to be health. We're becoming superhuman, the best version of ourselves. What's the one action item from everything we kind of talked about today, or all the things that you've worked with, that can really help people become superhuman?
Give yourself the permission to be a superhuman. Don't wait for your wife to be on board. Don't wait for your husband to be on board. Don't wait for the community to be on board. Give yourself the permission to do the things that you need to do to be able to evolve. Because if you're waiting for everybody else to get on board, you're never going to go to the next level.
Tell you what, that is spot on. Just giving ourselves permission. That is absolutely awesome. So Raul, I want to thank you, brother, for being here with us. Thanks for just adding so much value here. And we're going to put in your link in our link here tonight. If people want to join up and join us on Saturday, it'd be absolutely awesome. Karen, you got anything else to add here?
I've added the link in the chat. We are going to add that in all the replays as well. Also, if people, we were talking about, obviously, Raul, when you got sick, you reached out to Dr. Bart. Dr. Bart, if people do want to work with you, you work with people virtually all over the world. They can get in touch with Balance Health Studio and get a virtual consult with you.
Absolutely. Just like we're doing right now. So it's really easy. Maybe you can put that link in there as well. If people want to reach out, they can find us on the website or a phone number. Easy breezy. So Raul, thank you once again here. And for everyone listening, if you get this Saturday, correct, Raul?
Yep, this Saturday, 10/10/2020, 11 Eastern to 4 p.m. Eastern. So
absolutely
compound time.
Love it.
Disappointed. So anyone that has the opportunity to join, absolutely make this a priority. Raul, thank you for being here. I love you. I appreciate everything that you do.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
You guys know the gig here. We're going to continue to level up, make sure we take deliberate action for our mind, for our body, for overall wellness. Y'all be awesome.
Thank you.